Hey, Nick.
Hey, Phil.
It's your favorite Dante. He's back.
What if I told you
Dante's back in Pog form?
What if I told you that this actually is my favorite Dante?
Look, I have him wearing the old Dante costume, so that wouldn't surprise me.
That's not why he's my favorite Dante. Is that still? Are people still mad about that? It's been 2 or so years.
Some
right?
some people are definitely still mad about it.
Okay.
Some people did not like the original DmC : Devil May Cry.
Original is a funny way to put it.
Well, the original release of this game that we're seeing now.
Yeah.
But now we have this is the the HD version, not HD. I mean, it was HD before. What do you even call it?
Definitive.
Definitive Edition.
Yes.
DmC Definitive Edition.
Who the hell are you?
With that jerk Dante.
Mm-hmm.
They've made some really interesting changes in this one, including stuff that I think they're trying to appeal to fans of the core original Devil May Cry series who maybe weren't happy with this.
Is this costume among those things?
Well, this costume was downloadable or unlockable or something
Right.
in the original.
And this game comes with all the DLC, right? So
Yes,
all
this
these
comes with
goofy
all the
costumes.
DLC, all these costumes. I'll show those off all later. But one of the things they've changed, I don't know how much you played of DmC, but I'm not very good at DmC.
Right. That's
at
why we're
Devil May
able to
Cry.
enjoy this one, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not like super good at it. I've always liked the games, but I've never been very, very good. When I played DmC, I realized I was getting S ranks constantly.
Huh.
They've made it a little bit harder, and they also have some new modes so that you can even make it more difficult than it is currently.
So it's not just inherently harder, right? You have to opt into like that sped up mode and
is,
stuff like that.
No, it is inherently harder to get
Really?
and keep S ranks.
Gotcha.
But then on top of that, there are new modes that make it harder yet. So this is just in the second level of the game. We're hanging out at this mansion, and I'm about to get Dante's new weapon types.
This.
Starting with this red scythe thing. That's pretty awesome. Axe, scythe. It's kind of both.
So for like a cutscene like this, like an in-game cutscene, he retains the costume, right? But you were telling me yesterday that in all the pre-rendered stuff, obviously, he goes back to
a lot of the cutscenes in this are pre-rendered, not in engine.
Right.
So for those, it's going to be constantly switching back to his old costume. So if you have him in a different costume, it's a little bit jarring. Because the game will move between in-engine cutscenes and pre-rendered cutscenes really quickly.
Man, so it's funny. My relationship with this game was I really liked it. I got about, I'd say 2/3 of the way through it, and I was playing it on an actual, like, original launch Xbox 360 that was just randomly corrupting all my saves all the time.
Oh, perfect. That's exactly what you want.
Yeah, exactly. So I fell off, but I kind of want to go back because I'm a big Ninja Theory fan, and I remember really enjoying this when it first came out.
Well, this is a good excuse to go back. Playing through it, returning to it after a couple of years, it's definitely sticking out to me how bad the dialogue is.
Okay.
But also, I pretty much like everything else. I'm jumping ahead here a little bit to show off. Obviously, fighting is a big part of the game, but also something
it's
that
so
Ninja
pretty.
Theory added was a lot of weird little platforming segments like this. So I'm going to show off a little bit of that. We're going to be able to use the weird axe thing to pull platforms that are far away towards us.
Oh no, yeah, I remember this sequence. I remember all this stuff because I remember these weird sort of pseudo grapply platformy things where you have to like tug it towards you and then.
Yep.
Yeah, but God, the color palette in this game is something I'd forgotten I liked so much.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a very colorful game, and obviously, like, looking around here, I think one of the biggest strength of the whole game, in my opinion, like, I think it plays really well and the combat feels good and all of that, but the biggest strength is really just their environment design. I feel like more than anything, Ninja Theory is incredible at creating just really interesting, beautiful game environments.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking the other day about Enslaved and how like kind of slept on that game was, but it was.
Yeah.
I love Enslaved, and
I'm a big Enslaved defender. It's you, me, and like 2 people on GameFAQs.
that's us. Where the GameFAQs forum for Enslaved is just you and me and like 2 other randos. Yeah, I mean, I guess another difference, right, is that they're touting this as being like a 60 FPS or pretty close to 60 FPS version of the game.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, like, so you've played at this. the original DMC games were obviously like 60 FPS, very, very technical execution-based games. Do you think that that change for the console versions makes this feel a little more like Kamiya's DMC games?
I'm not the kind of person who, because I wasn't like a super hardcore Devil May Cry fan, and I'm not necessarily super hardcore frame rate guy either. I don't know that I can necessarily tell the difference that much, but I think it might help for people who were annoyed by just the way that that DMC felt different in a very mechanical sense. But it is still, it's still not the same game, right? It's still Ninja Theory's combat system rather than Capcom's internal combat system.
For sure. And it's funny, like, I think it's one of the things that I might not notice unless I was playing the two versions side by side. But at the same time, my memories of DMC were that it was really, really pretty, but that it felt a little sluggish, or a little like it was pushing the 360 right up to the brink of what it could handle, which is not a feeling you want in like a high-speed, very reaction-based action platformy thing.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think you're wrong about that. I think that's a totally fair thing to say.
So this is the PS4 version, right, that we're looking at?
Yeah,
here?
I'm playing on PS4. I will say, as much as that I have played on both PS4 and on Xbox One, the frame rate has been completely solid for both of them.
Nice.
So here I'm finding, one of the things that you can do is you explore levels and find hidden stuff. You can find keys, and then use those keys to open these doors and go on secret missions. And a secret mission is basically just a really quick little side thing.
Little challenges.
Yeah.
Not totally unlike...
They actually get really interesting later on, because it's stuff like this one's just destroy all the enemies in the time limit. But later on it gets into weird stuff like destroy all enemies, they only take damage in air. Or destroy all enemies, but you can only use this weapon type.
Or you have to do it all in one combo, I think, was one of them.
Yeah, I remember that one being really difficult for me because I suck.
Yep, me too. It kind of reminds me, I think Bayonetta 2 had a similar system to this, where you can kind of find these little one-off arena-based side mission things.
It's a cool system, and what I like about it is, for somebody who's not as skilled as like I am, it does force you to try new tactics and get better in a way that just going through the game doesn't necessarily.
Before sitting down and like looking at this with you, I had totally forgotten about the soundtrack to this game.
Yeah, it's real metal.
It was God. It was, you know who it was? It was like, I think it was Noisia, who's like kind of an electronic. Like they used to do, I don't know, like drum and bass music, if I remember right.
Okay.
But this is like very metal.
So here we get the second new weapon, which is so basically it's like the idea is like one of these weapons is a devil weapon and one is an angel weapon.
Right.
This is the angel weapon. I don't like it quite as much, but it does allow you to hit enemies sort of in a circle.
Something I remember is there being a thing where like a lot of in kind of the late game you would be forced, like there were enemies who could only take damage from a certain weapon. Yeah,
so they did change that as well, because that's something a lot of people complained about, because it can force you to like break the flow of your combos.
Right.
I believe what I read is that those enemies now take damage from all weapon types. Just very, if it's not the right weapon type, they just take a very decreased amount of damage.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
So you can, because before like your thing would just bounce off of them, your hits.
Right, and it would break your combo.
So I'm going to turn on turbo mode here. Let's take a quick look at the costumes. There's Neo Dante, DmC1 Dante. We're going to be Neo Dante. There's also different skins for your weapons.
Okay.
Which is kind of cool.
And then turbo mode is it's 20% faster?
Yeah, so the game is just 20% faster. Dante moves 20% faster, and all the enemies do, and everything. You'll see immediately. Compared to the combat I was just doing, it's so much quicker.
Wow, this actually looks like... This really feels more like DmC1 to me, actually.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. For some reason, it's just deciding now to tell me about the style rank system. No big deal. No big deal. We know how that works. I'm cruel right now. Now I'm dirty. It goes all the way up to like sadistic and stylish.
I don't remember. Is it stylish with like a bunch of S's? Can you get that in this game, or is that just in the old
Yes, I believe. because you can do S, and then it goes up to double S and triple S. I think triple S might be the highest.
Triple
No.
S stylish.
I'm not 100% sure on that. Let's be honest. I've never gotten triple S.
Sure.
But
Man, this looks like a. This actually looks like a much more terrifying game, sped up like this.
yeah, it's really cool though. It actually feels good. I feel like if I took some time to actually get good at the game, this would be a really fun way to play it. But yeah, so this is DmC Devil May Cry. It seems pretty cool. They've added some cool stuff, and it's still a good game. Like I don't know that I'm gonna blast all the way through it again, but it's fun.
Dante, the